Peach Bowl inside of this historic season. When we look at the college football playoff, it's the first time the college football playoff has ever had 12 teams. It's the first time the college football playoff ever had a first round, and I was there on site on location at Happy Valley for SMU at Penn State. It's the first time the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has ever been in a quarterfinal, because it's the first time the college football playoffs ever had a quarterfinal round. So it's history all over the place. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, a New Year's Six Bowl, has a lot of history. And of course, we've had Gary Stokin, the president and CEO of Peach Bowl Inc., that oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the Aflac kickoff game, as well as so much more, and community service above all. When we look at the Peach Bowl Inc., I want to thank Gary Stokin, Matt Garvey, and the entire team for Peach Bowl Inc., and I'm so happy to be here, as they have been part of the New Year's Six, which when the college football playoff came out a decade ago, a little bit over a decade ago, they were put into rotation. So they were a semifinal game, and then they would rotate out to be a New Year's Six, and they go back into being a semifinal game. Well, now with the new college football playoff expansion to 12 teams, we are seeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl inside of the college football playoffs road to the national champion every single season in the current format. It'll be a quarterfinal game or a semifinal game year in and year out. This year, they are a quarterfinal game, and the game that they have is Arizona State, who is the fourth of the four byes. The byes go to the top four highest ranked conference champions, and Arizona State out of the Big 12 was ranked fourth of those top four highest ranked conference champions, and so they got the 4 seed, and the Texas Longhorns had to play their way into this game. Coming from the first round, they had a game at home in Austin, Texas. The first round features the higher seed getting the home game, so the Texas Longhorns had the 5 seed, and they ended up hosting the 12-seeded Clemson Tigers. And the Texas Longhorns, in their first season in the SEC, have definitely shocked a lot of people, myself included, in how well they played in the SEC and getting through the SEC the way that they did. They only lost 2 games all season, and it was to the same team. They lost to Georgia twice this season. They haven't lost to anybody else. They didn't lose any non-conference games. They lost to Georgia inside of the regular season and in the SEC championship game. So they get the 5 seed, Georgia gets the 2 seed, and Texas hosted Clemson, the 12 seed, and that was the closest first round game. A lot of them were blowouts, and Texas and Clemson actually made it a game, and we had a 1-possession game down the stretch for a little bit there in the second half, and then Texas pulled away. So the Texas Longhorns taking on the Arizona State Sun Devils in this matchup, and I'm very excited to be able to be here on site, on location. You can hear the music behind me because I am inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta, Georgia, for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I want to thank the college football playoff, and of course I want to thank everyone at Peach Bowl Inc. Once again, Gary Stokin, Matt Garvey, and the entire team. I want to also thank Keelan Wheeler and Dylan Faulkner for all the work that they do. Looking at both of these teams, on one side for Texas we have Steve Sarkisian, who comes in here. His alma mater's BYU. His record as the head coach of Texas is 37-16. For Arizona State, we have Kenny Dillingham. His alma mater is Arizona State, so he's representing his alma mater here, and his record at Arizona State is 14-11. I want to give a shout out to the assistant coaches that are here. Assistant coaches for Texas, Kenny Baker, Jeff Banks, Tashard Choice, as well as Kyle Flood, Blake Gideon, thank you, Chris Jackson, and Terry Joseph, Pete Kwiatkowski, as well as AJ Milwee, Johnny Nansen, and Tori Beckton. For Arizona State, their assistants, Sean Aguano, Marcus Arroyo, Matt Butterfield, Brian Carrington, AJ Cooper, Jason Mones, as well as Charlie Raggle, Dyron Reynolds, Saga Tutelli, Brian Ward, and Hines Ward for Arizona State. Looking at the schedules and also want to let you know the officials, which is what they just brought over to us. So this is the officiating crew. Today's officials are from the Big Ten Conference. The referee is Larry Smith. The umpire is Jim Shaw. The headline coach is Rod Amari. The side judge is John Haynes. The line judge is Vince Winters. The field judge, Nicole Randolph. Back judge is Justin Stayer. The center judge is Mike Stumberg. The replay is Brian Brown. Communicator is Melissa Barlow, and the alternate is Cole Knopel here. So that is your officiating crew that we have here for the college football playoff quarterfinals inside of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. For Texas this season, like I said, they only lost 2 games. They were both to Georgia. Their schedule runs as follows. They defeated in non-conference play Colorado State, at Michigan, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, and then inside of the SEC, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Georgia they lost to, and then they won at Vanderbilt, Florida, at Arkansas, Kentucky, at Texas A&M, lost to Georgia 22-19 in the SEC championship game in their first season in the SEC, and then they defeated Clemson in the first round of the college football playoff 38-24. For Arizona State, they started off their season non-conference defeating Wyoming. They also played Mississippi State, so there's a common opponent between Texas and Arizona State also beat Mississippi State. And then they beat Texas State on the road. And then in conference, inside of the Big 12, they lost to Texas Tech, speaking of Arizona State, beat Kansas, beat Utah, lost at Cincinnati in a 24-14 game, won at Oklahoma State, beat UCF 35-31, won at Kansas State, which is hard to do this year. Kansas State was kind of all over the place. Then they beat BYU, beat Arizona in their rivalry game 49-7, which is now in the Big 12 instead of inside of the Pac-12. And they defeated Iowa State to win the Big 12 championship 45-19 in a blowout. So excited to have this game here with us today. I want to give you some history here on the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And so the 2023 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl featured the first ever meeting between number 11 Ole Miss and number 10 Penn State. The Rebels went on an 18-0 run to start the second half on a way to a 38-25 victory, representing their second Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl victory and first 11-win season in program history. And that was, of course, with the Lane train, Lane Kiffin. So shout out to Lane for that. And for those of you that are just tuning in, this is Dan Tortora of Wake Up Call, on site, on location, inside of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, broadcasting from inside of the stadium for the first time ever, and here down in Atlanta, Georgia, having some fun. Not my first time down in Atlanta running the show, but my first time here inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, doing a live broadcast. And of course, and not my first rodeo with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Happy to be back here again. So Greg said, despite the turning of a new page, the New Year tragedy continues. Prayers up for victims in New Orleans. Amen to that. And Chris saying Happy New Year. So Happy New Year to you as well, my good sir. So we got a lot of good stuff coming on here, giving you some history about Ole Miss and what happened last year when Ole Miss faced off against Penn State in this bowl game here for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So looking at more history here, James Franklin, Penn State head coach, had to say this: I've been very impressed with everything from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We've had a great experience and a great time in the city of Atlanta. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has been phenomenal. We've been treated in a first-class manner. Once again, that is from the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions, who this season have played in their first ever college football playoff, won their first ever college football playoff game, and then won a second game after defeating Boise State. They were the first of the quarterfinals that have gone on here so far, and they got their victory over Boise State, going away by a score of 34-14, and just took care of business in a big way against Boise State, especially late in the game. Didn't leave any window of opportunity, and did their best to keep Ashton Genty down. He still got over 100 yards for the game, but shout out to all the work that was done by Penn State. Once again, their defense shows up. That defense has been a monster, and a lot of credit to their defense. And I got to see that defense on site, on location in Happy Valley. So going into their game against Boise State, I was like, I don't see how Boise State can win that game, knowing just how good the defense is of Penn State. And that defense has been able to help them out in a big way. Multiple turnovers created in the game against Boise State in the quarterfinals, multiple turnovers created and scoring off of those turnovers in the matchup that they had in the first round at home against SMU. Going back to Lane Kiffin here of Ole Miss and his thoughts on the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the most recent Peach Bowl here. He said, we're excited to be a part of this huge matchup and big-time bowl game. We came here to be great and win New Year's Six bowls like this. This is really neat, winning a New Year's Six bowl and what an awesome bowl and week the whole staff here put together for us, end quote from Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin. Now, the final score last season was 38-25 in favor of Ole Miss. The viewership last season was 7.8 million people. All-time viewers on ESPN for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, 239.8 million people. The economic impact in 2023, total state economic impact for Georgia having the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl was $49.7 million economic impact last year. So last year alone, almost $50 million, which to some college football teams, that is what they generate in a season. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl did that for the state of Georgia in one game, this being the Peach Bowl, and total state economic impact over time for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, $890 million, and that will raise today. Tax revenue in 2023, $3.8 million, $51.9 million total tax revenue all time for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. They've had 22 sellout games in 25 years for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The 2023 total team payout was $12 million. So amongst the two teams last year, $12 million was given from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to Ole Miss and Penn State playing in this thing, $12 million cumulatively. The all-time total team payout, $245.1 million. The attendance in 2023, 71,230. The average in college football playoff era. So since the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has been a part of the college football playoff within this last decade, they have averaged 69,773 people per game. Absolute insanity here. We also know that the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, we know that Peach Bowl Inc. is connected to the Dodd Trophy, college football's most coveted head coaching award. The Dodd Trophy is named for legendary Georgia Tech head coach Bobby Dodd. The Dodd Trophy was established in 1976 to honor the FBS football coach whose program represents three pillars of success: scholarship, leadership, and integrity. The award honors the coach of a team with a successful season on the field, and equally as important, stresses the importance of academic excellence, which we are in dire need of, I think we can all agree, in collegiate athletics, and a desire to give back to the community. Philosophically aligned with the tenets of the Dodd Trophy, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl became the presenting sponsor of the award in 2011. The bowl then assumed day-to-day management of the Dodd Trophy in 2014 and is responsible for the operations, marketing, branding, sales, and communications for college football's most prestigious and sought-after coaching award. PNC became the presenting sponsor of the Dodd Trophy in 2021. Coach Bobby Dodd is a legend in a way that he did things: scholarship, leadership, and integrity. It's how we try to do things here at the University of Alabama. That was said by Nick Saban, who won the award in 2014. 2023 winner is a guy that I know all too well from Memphis and Florida State, Mike Norvell. And so Norvell, it's Jim Terry, the chairman of the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year Foundation, said, Coach Norvell's relentless commitment to establish a winning culture, both on and off the field within the Florida State program, was evident throughout this season. He prepared his teams thoroughly to take care of business on the field and continues to push his student athletes to be successful off the field as well. Coach Norvell truly carries on Coach Dodd's legacy in the modern era of the sport, and we are honored to name him the Dodd Trophy Coach of the Year. That was in 2023, end quote. Dodd winners by the numbers. Average final conference finish is 1.5, so somewhere in first or second place. Average number of wins during the season for Dodd Trophy winners is 11 for the coaches on average, and the average final ranking for a team that has a coach that wins the Dodd Trophy is number 9. 24 all-time FBS national championships have been connected to winners of the Dodd Trophy, 222 all-time conference titles, 976 average APR, all-time wins for those that have won the Dodd Trophy, 8,205. Average graduation rate for coaches that exemplify the Dodd Trophy in scholarship, leadership, and integrity is 80% of their student athletes graduating. So big time shout out to them. We also know that the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl here is connected to the Aflac Kickoff Game, all under Peach Bowl Inc. It used to be called the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game. Now it's the Aflac Kickoff Game. It's their nation's longest running kickoff game. And here's something cool and a fun fact. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is being played here in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff this season. But the national championship will also be here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So the last game of the 2024-25 season will be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The first game of the 2025-26 season will be played here in Atlanta when we have Syracuse taking on Tennessee, and then after that Virginia Tech taking on South Carolina in a Aflac kickoff game, dual games here, one on one day, one on the other, to open things up. The nation's longest running kickoff game. Last year, Georgia defeated Clemson this season, 34-3, and they both made it to the college football playoff. Aflac and Peach Bowl Inc. teamed up through the Aflac kickoff game to raise and donate $402,855 for their Kickoff for a Cause initiative, giving back to the communities they serve. This initiative aligned with September's National Childhood Cancer and Sickle Cell Awareness Month, reflecting their shared commitment to supporting patients and families through all stages of treatment. Donations to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta and the Peach Bowl Legacy Fund is $302,855. Donations to the John Lewis Legacy of Courage Scholarship Program, $100,000. Total donations, as I mentioned, $402,855. Average all-time team payout for the Aflac kickoff game is $6 million. $127.7 million all-time team payouts. $5.2 million is the all-time average viewers per Aflac kickoff game, which is here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in connection to Peach Bowl Inc. and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, all under Peach Bowl Inc. $108.6 million all-time viewers for the Aflac kickoff game. Game records, all-time kickoff game attendance, 78,827, and then 8.2 million viewers week one for a noon broadcast. 65,677 average attendance, higher than the attendance of 38 bowl games in 2023-24. So the kickoff game to start the season here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium under Peach Bowl Inc., called the Aflac kickoff game, averaged more than 30. Their attendance was higher than 38 bowl games last season. 1.38 million all-time attendance to the games. 17 sellouts for the Aflac kickoff game, and like I said, in 2025, the ACC or the SEC, so my hometown of Syracuse will take on Tennessee, a vibrant orange versus a more yellow-orange, and then Virginia Tech will take on South Carolina. Now, college football, you hear Gary Stokan say this all the time, the president and CEO of Peach Bowl Inc., on my broadcast here on Wake Up Call, that the Peach Bowl is college football's most charitable bowl organization. They have raised $63.5 million in total donations. Since 2002, Peach Bowl Inc., through funds derived from its Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Aflac kickoff game and Southern Company Peach Bowl Challenge charity golf tournament, has donated and committed $63.5 million in charity and scholarship contributions to organizations in need. The Peach Bowl Legacy Fund in 2019, Peach Bowl Inc. announced a historic $20.6 million gift to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. The $20 million commitment established the Peach Bowl Legacy Fund, which is hyper-focused on funding clinical drug trials for the most promising new drugs and treatments for children that are fighting cancer. Peach Bowl Touchdowns for Children's. The Peach Bowl and Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, CHOA, extend their partnership on an annual campaign to raise money for kids fighting cancer. Touchdown for Children's asks fans to pledge money for each touchdown their favorite team scores during the season. The Peach Bowl then matches that amount dollar for dollar. And then looking at the literacy initiative, Peach Bowl Inc. in partnership with the Chick-fil-A Foundation, the CFP Foundation, and the Atlanta Football Host Committee invested $2 million in a 3-year literacy initiative to train teachers in advanced reading instruction. Academic mentoring program. The Peach Bowl's academic mentoring program provided an academic coach in 11 APS high schools to work directly with students to improve grade point averages, preparing for the SAT and ACT, and apply and transition to college. $3.6 million in total donation from Peach Bowl Inc. to the Atlanta Public Schools. Endowed scholarships. Peach Bowl Inc. has made a strong commitment to helping Georgia students further their secondary education in honor of one of our nation's civil rights icons. The John Lewis Legacy of Courage Scholarship, endowed by the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, currently operates scholarships at 33 universities with invested dollars that have grown to $8.9 million. In the 2022-23 academic year, these endowments created scholarships for 36 students from Atlanta and Georgia. Many of the students attended Title I high schools where the need for scholarship assistance is highest. So that's what we have to look at here, folks. Big time shout out. We got Quinn Ewers on one side for Texas, backed up by Arch Manning. Is there a better 1-2 punch at quarterback in the FBS of 134 schools? On the other side, we have Sam Levitt, backed up by Jeff Sims. And then we have Quintravian Wisner, running back on the side for Texas. And we have Cam Scatabo on the side for Arizona State at running back, who found himself in the top 10 in the Heisman Trophy finish this year. Wide receivers, we have Matthew Golden, DeAndre Moore, Isaiah Bond and company, as well as Gunnar Helm at tight end. On one side for Texas, on the other side for Arizona State, we have Xavier Guillory, as well as Myquan Stovall, Troy Omier, and we have tight end Shimon Mateer. And of course, on the defensive side, we have the likes on Texas of Baron Sorrell, as well as Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, Bill Norton, Trey Moore, Anthony Hill Jr., as well as Jade Barron and Michael Taff, who used to be a walk-on and has a tremendous story in his own right. What he did, the hit that he put on Clemson, secured the victory for them in the first round to get to this game. And of course, Malik Muhammad, and so on and so forth on the defensive side. On the defensive side for Arizona State, we have the likes of Prince Dorba, as well as Elijah O'Neal, CJ Fight, Jeff Clark, Clayton Smith, as well as Keyshawn Elliott, Jordan Crook, Javon Robinson, Keith Abney II, Shamari Simmons, Xavier Elford, Miles Rausner, and company. Very excited for this. Specialist Michael Kern punting for Texas. On the other side, we have punter Canyon Floyd, and then kicker Bert Auburn for Texas. And for Arizona State, we have Karsten Kiefer. And our kickoff, we have Will Stone for Texas. We have Ian Hershey for Arizona State. Our holders are Michael Kern for Texas and Canyon Flood for Arizona State. So the punters are the holders for both teams. And then we have snappers for Texas. We have Lance St. Louis. And then we have Tyler Wigglesworth, one of my favorite names in college football right now, for Arizona State. For kick return, we have Matthew Golden and Silas Bolden. On the other side for Arizona State, we have Jake Smith and Melquan Stovall. Punt return, Silas Bolden, Matthew Golden, but flipped. And then Melquan Stovall and Jordan Tyson for punt return for Arizona State. So that's a look at what we have here for the coaching staffs, the depth charts, the history of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, giving back to the community, the Aflac kickoff game, everything that's under Peach Bowl Inc., all coming to you right here from the College Football Playoff as we make history for the first time ever, a 12-team playoff. I was with you in the first round. I'm now here with you in round number 2, a.k.a. the quarterfinals. First time we've ever had a quarterfinal. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl knows what it's like to be inside of the College Football Playoff. They've been on the road to the national champion. They will now stay on the road of the national champion as long as we keep this format. All 6 New Year's 6 bowl games will never rotate out of the College Football Playoff. They'll either be a quarterfinal or a semifinal, which means that the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, for example, will always lead to the road to the national champion in somehow, some way through this process. So, again, many thanks to Gary Stoken, to Matt Garvey, to Texas, as well as to Arizona State. Thank you to the College Football Playoff, to the committee, and of course to everything that they allow me access to throughout the year, as well as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Aflac Kickoff Game, Peach Bowl Inc. in general, the College Football Playoff Hall of Fame, and everything that's done here, the golf tournament, and everything under Peach Bowl Inc. I want to thank you for watching and making history with me. As the College Football Playoff makes history, Wake Up Call makes history, on site, on location, broadcasting from Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the first time ever here in Atlanta, Georgia, for the Texas Longhorns taking on the Arizona State Sun Devils. It's the SEC versus the Big 12. It would have been the Big 12 versus the Big 12. Actually, last year it would have been the Big 12 for Texas versus the Pac-12 for Arizona State. So how funny is that? Last year, Texas was representing the Big 12. This year, Arizona State is, but they both have been in the Big 12 and now Texas in the SEC, Arizona State in the Big 12. We'll find out what's going to happen here as we step forward into this game. Stay close to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, of course, for 24/7 coverage of sports and life, because as you know, Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. Hi to my dog Lily. A happy birthday to my dad once again, December 31st. And of course, hi to my mom, hi to my grandparents up in heaven that I know are watching over me, Pop Cavino, Pop Miller, Papa, as well as Grandpa Bill. I want to give a shout out to my dogs in heaven, Shady, Mordu, and Cinnamon, to my friends in heaven, Rob, as well, my buddy Rob Edson, Jay Hammerin, Dustin Rhodes, Fred Reed. I want to send you all my love, John Williams as well, and of course to all my loved ones here, to my brothers, to Ross, as well as Rob, Isaac, Johnny, Jason, Joey. I love you all dearly. You mean the world to me. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you to everyone that's been by my side, and thank you to everybody that stood in my way, because God always finds a way, and the world is the world's, and it's going to do what it does. But I know who sits on the throne. I know who is on that throne at the start of every year, the end of every year, and the middle of every single year. God bless. No stress. Do your best. I'll talk with you all soon. Stay well. Stay safe. And for now, I'm signing off, but follow me all the way through for Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl content and college football playoff content. Can't wait to talk with you soon, and I'm very happy to make history with you today. God is great, never forget it. I'm just a big kid celebrating the dreams and aspirations and chasing them for the little kid that always lives inside me. God bless you all. Stay safe. Be well.